grab a solitary game win here in the entire Division 2. Let us see if this is the series where they can change that fate, or if it's going to be PuckChamp starting to make their own journey towards a first series win confirmed here in Div 2. Let's find out. We get into some Dota, some hype here. So far, no fights happening. I'm always in two minds when I see this DK hero in the safe lane. Because it almost always is either amazing and this hero just like never dies, does all the damage in the game, or it just falls so flat that you're like, well, why did we do this one, boys? We could have gone for literally anything else. But I'm more intrigued about the nature of this SF middle. What do you make of it in this game? SF mid versus this Leshrac. How does this matchup plan play out for you in your head?
I think most SFs are okay with most matchups, right? You know, you just the nature of Shadow Razors and just being able to get some levels on SF is always good. So I think it's going to be okay. You don't really have to worry about too many ganking supports. Like there's a Hoodwink that can rotate with like a Power Rune and stuff like that. But as long as you're just you know, double raising the wave, then you're okay. You're just shoving it into the tower of Stoichkov, and maybe he can't make those rotations. So this should be a perfectly fine lane here.
Let's see how this all goes. As Lorinov and the gang will not be able to get themselves the triple bounties. They're going to play it safe instead, getting themselves the dual bounties. And we're going to get this game off in a very even keel fashion. Let's see how this all shakes out. The mid lane should be fine, as you were expressing earlier. The top lane, Sweden Strong, is going to be going in to help out with the Monkey King. For those of you who don't know, you have to thank this man for introducing to us 4 Primal Beasts in official games. Thanks, fam. Lots of lost MMR because of you. Awesome.
Yeah, there's always going to be some innovators, right? They're going to pick some weird stuff, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But I feel like this Pods 4 Monkey King is something that when you have a specialist who plays it, it can be really, really strong, but you can also quickly kind of lose your way in the game, right? Like if you're not able to make rotations and get stuff done with Primal Spring, then the hero can feel pretty bad. But he can always do this stuff, right? Where he's just an out-and-out better trader than most heroes in the game, especially at level 1. That he can just kind of bully people 2v1 and enable an offlaner like Snapfire, who just wants to kind of get towards level 6, and then she can naturally farm and rotate herself.
It's created a little bit of the space right now at this first level. She is going to be able to hit level 2 without dying as a result, so she's a lot happier. You get the Fire Snap Cookie for some escape potential if needed. So everything coming up clutch on the top side of the map for PuckChamp. But down bottom, they have low skill being guarded up by the Kidaro Enchantress. The two of them are going up against the Are Doom as well as the Cube Hoodwink. Doom, one of these heroes that, as Enchantress, you're not very happy to see in the laning phase, but you just mean that you just don't level up Enchantress or the Enchant as long as humanly possible, because you know that he's going to have Doom available pretty much ASAP, so don't even waste your time with giving up mana for free.
Yeah, I think you can still level up Enchant if you want to, you just don't enchant a creep, right? Like the slow and the purge at level 1 is still pretty good, especially when you're playing in a lane with a melee laner, so wouldn't hate to see some early levels of it and even just be able to play around the Nature's Attendant. So not the worst, it just means that you can't be this abusive hero that Enchantress has been for a long time, where she just gets a creep at like level 3 and runs at you, and your Pods 4 just says, see you later, brother, I'm going to go mid and hopefully I can get a kill, and then you come out in 10 minutes and hopefully you're okay.
She did do a very smart thing though, here coming in from Kidaro. Waited until Ade actually used Devour in the creep wave, and only afterwards enchanted up this Kobold Foreman, bring it into the lane to apply some additional harass onto Cube. So certainly has put in these reps on the Enchantress, knows exactly what's going on here. Level 20 Enchantress, so playing it quite decently. Although, what you mentioned about the rotations that could go potentially to the mid lane, at some point Dooms generally want to occupy some space by themselves. So we will see if Cube does choose to grant that space. Right now, they just have to give some space, given this a lot of damage going in towards Ade. Ade actually might die here. Breathe Fire will come out, and there's going to be the secondary impetus shot. And that'll be enough to claim the kill. Staying a little bit too long in the lane, and PuckChamp will make him realize that he's certainly overstayed his welcome, and he gets brought down for the first blood.
Yeah, Kadara is absolutely owning this lane, right? Like, just look at the CS. 18 and 5 up against the 9 and 2. Low skill is absolutely obliterating Ade this time around. He's doubling up on his CS, and luckily enough for Ade, he does have Devour, so he will have a catch-up mechanic of sorts, so he's not really going to be lacking out too much on the net worth, but it's just more so the fact that starting out this early on something like a position 1 Dragonite means that you can just get like this early hand of Midas, get a very, very quick blink BKB, and then then that's when you can start to abuse your hero with a lot of these levels and a lot of this fighting early before, you know, Ivy are able to catch up with items and stuff. That's where it's going to start getting spooky, when things like the Leshrac and the Sniper have a few more items than the Dragon Knight. If he's not, you know, 1 or 2 items ahead, he can start to feel a little squishy in these team fights. But if low skill just continues the way he is and the rest of PuckChamp continue the way they're going, this is going to be a pretty nice early game for PuckChamp.
They're winning out in the CS department pretty much all their lanes. CS leader on the map right now is going to be Lays. Sit chilling on the top side of the map on the Snapfire. We'll see what exactly the kind of build he goes for. Presumably just the usual aura build. Yeah, okay, confirmed. You picked up Arcane Boots, you're definitely going for some auras this game. So should be fine, giving them some additional sustain. Nobody on the side of Ivy wants to be buying a Spirit Vessel. I mean, you presumably can buy Shivas for both Doom and Lesh later. But right now, though, Sweden Strong actually in a little bit of trouble. We're suffering some right-click damage. Shani does not happen to have any additional points into this young take aim. He went for the 2-1 build, so as soon as you're out of the additional shrapnel, you should be able to be perfectly fine as Sweden Strong.
Yeah, I thought maybe that we would see some early levels of the Tombstone coming in from James Vincenzo. Obviously, there's the little Shredder, so it's not going to be the greatest of spells for them, but they're going 2 levels in the Shrapnel, and if you have the Tombstone as well, it just means that you can kind of win out the trades, because there's a lot of slow and a lot of damage that can come through that, and maybe it just forces them to stand up in this like level 2, level 3 Shrapnel for a little bit too long, and that's when you can get some trade kills. So is what it is. It looks like the lane is going relatively okay so far for Zani. He's 25 and 3 up against the 29 and 3, so it's not, you know, the worst for him. He would love to be a lot further ahead, but sometimes it's a little too hard for a sniper. Oh,
he might actually die here, so his entire lead might be eroded away by the damage coming in from PuckChamp. And one more right click from Lays will ensure that that does happen. Lays is walking through a shrapnel, but you were talking earlier about the lack of Tombstone and how it denied them a kill onto Sweden Strong. Now it denies them the opportunity to save the sniper's life as he goes down. This is massive all across the map. They just brought down the sniper top bottom lane before this happened. Ade ended up dying on his Doom. So the only lane right now which Ivy is not comprehensively losing is this mid lane, where things are still not that great for them. They are suffering in the CS department. The Lesh is being lapped a little bit by this SF. So everything coming out PuckChamp in these first opening minutes of this game here, Fluke. So it's going to be on Ivy up to like the next 5-6 minutes to try and turn this around, unless they get just completely ran over when Puck hits this mid-game timing of their BKBs.
Well, that's going to be the scary thing, right, is PuckChamp have this early game draft where they're able to really kind of group up and take some towers, so leave Lauren off to sit back in the jungle and farm a little bit more, because at the end of the day, he is going to be the end-all be-all carry for them. Albeit, the Dragon Knight can definitely transition into some of those scarier parts of the game where he has, like, Blink BKB and, like, an Aghanim Scepter +1, but you kind of want to try and use that advantage as much as you can.
I think Cube dies down bottom. Low skill able to get the Breathe Fire. Ade might be in danger here. Kidaro has Enchant again in 15 seconds, but they're up against it. Just happy to be able to zone him away from the lane. This is going much better than it should be. Top lane though, first Morty's kisses of the game do get triggered out onto Shani. Shani almost dies, might tick out. 9 HP on the sniper. Are you kidding me? Able to escape away from this one. We'll see if James Vincenzo is so lucky. He's trying to get off a final decay onto this Monkey King. Won't be able to find him. Hoodwink comes in with the Bushwhack. Misses in its entirety. Sweden Strong might decide to make the jump back. But for now, just happy to stalk in the trees, waiting for somebody to jump on to interrupt their targeting of Lays. And Sweden Strong almost found himself getting removed from the tree by Cube. Not going to end up happening. Sniper survives by the skin of his teeth, but this is a sniper, so this is a hero that does have to go back to base if he ever falls that low. No access to the Morbid Moss just yet, so this map opening up even more for them. And to make matters even worse, Fluke, they take advantage of this Hoodwink leaving the bottom lane to just trigger the Dragon Form and start putting the pressure onto the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, this is kind of dire days right now for Ivy, right? These first couple of minutes have not gone well for them in the lanes. I think Ade is really slowly starting to come back. He's got a Vanguard up as well. Doesn't even get the deny. As you said, I think he's dead.
He is very smart. If he doesn't TP right then and there, he's 100% dead. And if there's any other creep that has a stun instead of the Warpine Raider, he's definitely dead as well. So good job for him. Unfortunately, while that all is happening, they do finally get a win for the side of Ivy, triggering onto Lorinov. A big movement. Both supports make their presence known in the mid lane, and Stoikov able to get something out of it. Very big kill, considering how large the gap was between him and the SF and CS. That does now help to normalize it in terms of net worth, at least.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I talked about with the Shadow Fiend, right? Is you can just get rotated on by the Hoodwink, and they just come in with the Hoodwink. I believe there was actually a decay coming in from Jay and Vincenzo as well, so SF just losing a little bit more of that HP, and it's exactly what they need to do. They need to play around Stoichkov because he's had the one that's been the closest kind of lane. Like Zani in the top lane has been doing kind of okay, but your Leshrac is going to be the hero that's going to hit this timing with the Blood Zone and then be a very, very scary hero on the map, whereas Sniper is a little more of needing 1 to 2 more items before he actually starts becoming a threat on the map and be very, very scary. So playing through Stoichkov is exactly what they need to do here for Ivy, and you can see he's starting to make his rotation towards the top side as well to try and defend Zani.
We'll see if Sonic gets away from this. In the meantime, though, Sweden Strong gets brought down by this Hoodwink next to the Bushwhack. Sweden Strong throws out the Young Pounder Strike. It's not going to be enough though. Stoichkov and the boys, they have enough damage to kill him. The question is, can they get more out of this? Lorinov was nearby, trying to run himself away. There's going to be the Bushwhack. They get him back, and the Split Earth will follow this up. They try to buy space and time with the Morty's Kisses. Lorinov triggering off the Requiem. He gets Stoichkov. Stoichkov dies to the Morty's Kisses. And they manage to keep Lorinov alive somehow. Jay Vincenzo trying to chase him down with the decay. Will not be able to do so. As Ivy, they thought they'd gotten themselves a major prize, but it turns out to be a major debate fluke as they lose one of the biggest heroes on the map. The one you said is going to be guaranteeing them this part of the game. And they're going to lose Kidara as well. But that's just dessert at this point in time.
Cube. Oh, okay. He was so close to going down there. Raindrop's pretty strong, and so they're able to at least get the transition there onto Kadaro, but losing Lorinov, like Laze is doing a lot of work so far, and he's a very big chubby boy. I'm feeling good with how this Snapfire is going, but yeah, losing Stoichkov is definitely not what you want here. If you're Ivy, he's anything but losing your Leshrac. You'd probably be a-okay with it, especially if he's starting to get more kills onto Lorinov, but it's just not really working out here for Ivy, and unfortunately for them, they have a greedy offlaner in the Doom as well, who doesn't want to transition out of his lane until he gets a decent amount of gold himself. So it's going to be a little bit of time before Ivy can make a strong ball themselves, because Leshrac needs some items, he needs his Bloodstone before he can start to be scary. Sniper needs a whole lot of items. He needs things like Hurricane Pike, he needs like BKB, he needs Mask of Madness, he needs Shard this game as well. And same thing with Ade, like he needs Hand of Midas, BKB, Blink Dagger, like it's going to be a lot of time and a lot of gold before Ivy are actually able to come online, whereas you see PuckChamp, they're close to the Guardian Groups. They're a few thousand gold away from that. They've almost got BKB coming up here for Lorinov. You know, when we're looking at low skill, he's already got Hand of Midas, 1,000 gold away from Blink. Like, things are just starting to come up PuckChamp.
Yep. To make matters even worse, you're talking about the rate at which they're accruing gold. Low skill has had this Midas for a few minutes now, already building into the Blink Dagger. Erstwhile, this DK, or the Doombringer rather, only about to get Midas now. So we're 12, 13 minutes into the game before we get a Doom Midas. Not what you want to see. And you also don't want to see a Stoichkov dead. He doesn't have any defensive tools for himself. However, they do have magic damage. They're trying to throw it out right now. Stoichov's still alive, should end up dying, but will take some heroes down with him as they bring down Sweden Strong. Lorinov can't get off the Requiem because Ade interrupts him with the Infernal Blade, but there's going to be the Fire Snap Cookie, stunning up Ade. Ade is certainly going to die here. They don't even need the Requiem for this one, but Lorinov channels it for style points anyway. They found 3 kills. It only cost them the life of Sweden Strong's Monkey King, and at the same time, they also claimed the Tier 1 tower. Dude, 3 for 1, 2 of those 3 being cores, and Lorinov is involved in most of those kills. Sign me up with this kind of hype any day of the week for PuckChamp.
Yeah, and especially because Low Skill took a tower by himself, right? He just sat towards the bottom side. He just was able to deal with the... actually, let the Tier 1 tower early on. He was able to freely farm in the bottom side, completely untouched. Now he's got Blink Dagger, and now you have to worry about a Dragon Knight with a Blink on top of what you're already dealing with. Man, Ivy are at panic stations right now. There's 6,000 gold behind at 13 minutes into this game. Stoichkov does not have his Bloodstone just yet. He's still a decent amount of gold away from that. Like... They need to win a fight, and they need to win a fight handedly, but they need to bring all 5 heroes if they want to try and do it.
Yep. I mean, look at this. Kidaro is solo looking at them inside their own jungle, staring them in the eyes. They know he's there, but they realistically can't do anything about this. They don't have a Sweden Strong Monkey King to jump around, giving them vision. They don't have a Blink DK. They don't have a single Blink Dagger just yet, in fact. Still trying to build into one for Ade. And we'll see if this Monkey King is able to get a kill onto Cube. He gets brought down from the tree line, though. Split Earth will connect onto him. Fire Snap Cookie saves him for a while. And Laranov wants to reveal the BKB in the midst of this team fight. JM Vincenzo trying his best to try and walk away from this fight. Wildwing Ripper chasing him down. Kidaro shows up to throw in some impetus shots. And they do manage to find the kill. I'm kind of surprised Kidaro didn't just tornado or hurricane forward this SF, but you know, it's fine. You still get the kill, it's okay.
Sometimes the 1%ers don't just come out of the woodwork, but I really like how PuckChamp are just, they understand that they just need to play like around this Monkey King's vision that he's providing, right? And if he ever gets caught out, they just make a rotation, they save him with the Fire Snap Cookie, they get him.
Oh, look who they found!
Oh no, they found the sniper.
The biggest target on the map for them to bring down right now. Bring them down the sniper. He gets less and less gold out of this.
Oh, they're getting a stack,
Oh, no. Dude, this was the stack that was supposed to guarantee them the Bloodthorn. Or the Bloodstone, rather.
Yeah.
Now you can't finish that off that item. It's going to be even more delayed on the Leshrac.
Yeah, I mean, PuckChamp, they're playing these drafts really, really well. I was saying that Ivy have some easier stuff to, you know, play around with, right? Like this sniper in the Leshrac, it's pretty straightforward. Get your items, play the game, and just kind of go in and take some towers. But the way the PuckChamp are just playing, man, like the way they play their lanes, the way they're now rotating around the map and abusing Sweden strong, abusing the fact that they have very, very strong heroes, just goes to show that these guys knew exactly what they were getting themselves into and the reason why they picked the Dragonite. So the question is now, how do they transition this into taking T2 towers and how they transition this into getting Roche? That's one of the big critiques that I have for some of these teams is you have this massive lead early game, right? And then you kind of fumble the bag because you're either too slow, you're too fast, you're not, you know, doing things at the correct time. And when you see some of these top tier teams in the world, you know, teams like Liquid and, you know, Gaming Gladiators and PSG LGD, when they get these early kind of advantages, it's the way that they systematically take the rest of the map and then still are able to get every bit of gold out of the map that they possibly can and just continually choke you out while still getting a massive lead. Just goes to show the kind of hallmarks of these great teams.
We do see that they're also trying to make sure that Kidaro is farmed as well. So they're giving him more priority than Sweden Strong. With Sweden Strong, they're like, mates, you've got a cloak, you've got orbital corrosion. What more do you want? Let's give all the farm towards Kidaro. Make sure that the edge can dish out damage. And you were mentioning PSG LGD as a team that can choke out the map. Another thing that LGD does the best in the world is turning their supports into core heroes. And Kidaro, at the rates he's going, this edge is certainly going to start hurting. For now though, PuckChamp will just try to make sure that the next phase of the game is secured. And they'll do that by getting themselves into the Roshan pit, saying what's up to the big man, going to get themselves an Aegis. Not only are Ivy not aware of this, but even if they were, Fluke, I actually don't think you can contest this as a side of Ivy. You don't have a single, you still don't have a single BKB. You cannot even think about the Roshan pit right now.
Dude, Zani only has Mask of Madness. I think he has something coming out to him now on the career. I'm seeing if I can try and find it. Okay, he has D-Lance. So at least he has something here on the sniper to have a little bit of you know, gusto in these fights. But I mean, the way this game is going, all they need to do is continue to win these fights. But I think Ivy are doing a good job at just waiting, not giving too much on the map. They're just cutting a lot of these creep waves. They're buying a bit of time. They have Bloodstone up now. They have a little bit closer towards the BKB here for Ade, and you know, once Sniper gets closer to his own BKB, maybe they can fight. The big question mark for me though is you need to be careful not to allow this Sniper to go down first in these fights. If he ever gets Blink and Dragon Tailed, I mean that could just kind of spell disaster for these team fights.
So just now down bottom, we saw Sweden Strong jumping away from an engagement, dropping down the tombstone behind him. So that's they're actually not cleaning it up. Because there's nobody nearby to kill it. So JM Vincenzo just guarding it. One thing that makes me laugh though, look at Sweden Strong's item build, dude. He's not even buying boots, straight Mage Slayer. He's like, alright, Over Corrosion, Cloak, Mage Slayer, let's go. This is the 4 position we want to see. And JM Vincenzo flying a little bit too close to the sun there, buddy. Gonna find himself stunned up by a low skill, definitely cleaned up by Sweden Strong and this DK. And the rest of his team had already vacated the area. This was an optimistic creep skip to say the least.
Yeah, being a little bit greedy. I mean, to be fair, like you're a position 5 on a team that's 7,000 gold behind. Are you really worth much? Not really. Like he's going to get towards a drums at some time. So it's kind of the beauty of these low gold component items where you're just able to slowly accrue the gold. So it's not the worst thing. They did have to, you know, expend a TP for low skill. So, I mean, at the end of the day, probably not too sad.
So what you're saying to me is that the next time I'm feeding in a game, I'll be like, guys, we're already like 10k gold behind. Me feeding doesn't mean anything. It's fine.
Exactly. It's hashtag creating space, baby. That's the best way to put it. Guys, look at all this space. I forced the Dragonite to TP to get 300 gold. I am the best player on the planet.
Sadly, though, all the space that they would like to have been taking advantage of in that interval is being soaked up by PuckChamp. You're talking about how they should make sure to just control the map and get farm. Well, we see Larinov taking over their triangle. Low skill is taking over the Radiant triangle. And now they're just taking over the Dire jungle as well. So Ivy just has no farm. The progression for themselves is really lacking. So this smoke that they're going for kind of needs to pay off. They don't have a BKB just yet for Stoikov. Ade does have one, however. But certainly cannot afford to just walk cavalierly into a fight and get picked off first. And they're very skittish about this because, yet again, look at those drops here, Fluke. Who makes the initiation? They're going to try go right now with the Bushwhack onto Lays. They do get a ton of damage out. They even drop down the Doom onto him. So they will find the kill. However, that is, what, 3 ultimates just to try and bring down the Snapfire. Larinov didn't even pop BKB for that one, so it's just be a free tier 2 tower. I don't think the Snapfire cares too much about losing his life under those conditions.
Yeah, I think Snap's okay with that, but you're also pretty happy with that if you're Ivy as well. Especially if they're able to get away with Cube's life.
Oh, that is.
No, they can't.
Oh no, they also killed Cube's courier. That was the meme hammer.
Oh,
Oh,
he has a meteor
dude.
hammer?
Yeah, he does. He does.
I mean, they need to cut Great Waves for Eternity, so maybe that's his way of just being able to instantly nuke these Crit Waves, but, I mean, I feel like maybe Aethelens could have just done the same thing because, you know, Bushwhack as well as Acorn Shot is able to kill a Crit Wave, but is what it is. They have a lot of chain stun. I think that's the one issue that Ivy have is they have very, very little lockdown, and you can just see in that previous fight where they blew literally everything to kill an offlaner, and then they were like, we can't fight it anymore. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's what? A BKB, multiple ultimates. SF triggered Requiem, but he was just like, it was a Hail Mary Requiem, didn't really care if it hit heroes or not. Well, they still have this Aegis for another 45 seconds, so ideally they use this to take down an additional tier 2 tower. We see Lays is trying to make the space by pushing in through bottom. Larinov is making more space, pushing through middle. So they have their pick of the litter, exactly what play they want to go for next. And Ivy, since they still only have that one BKB, kind of difficult to decide where you want to try and defend. And they might actually try and jump onto Stoikov here. They've scanned him behind the tier 1 tower. Ivy knows that this is coming, so should probably start getting back. It's a scary moment to be in though. Sweden Strong is nearby as well. Has the competed Mage Slayer on this pause 4 Monkey King. Love to see it. I love this guy's itemization, honestly, sometimes. And they're going to find a hero bottom. Oh, it's just JF intent. You're saying he just understands, yeah?
It's just an undying. I think with Sweden Strong, he just identifies that if they stop the Leshrac from dealing the damage early on, then they really don't have much to worry about until the sniper starts getting towards the scary portion of the game where he has 2 or 3 damage items. So if you keep your Dragonite alive, then he's able to deal the damage for you.
Well,
Cube is dead.
Cube is dead. On the bright side about Cube dying, that does mean that Cube can go back to base and fetch his meme hammer even faster, as the courier did just respawn. So he's like, ha, you fools! You gave me the express trip.
It also does pull them off the tier 2 tower bottom, so at the end of the day they do get a little bit of map control back, but they've lost their tier 2 tower mid, they've lost their tier 2 tower top, their only tier 2 tower is bottom. They're still, you know, playing up against an 11,000 net worth lead, so I mean, swings and roundabouts, right? Like, you gotta take the good with the bad, and sometimes that just means giving up your pos 4 for a little bit of map control. Look at Kadara, though. He has Boots of Bearing and a gem, and he's just standing in the front like, please try and kill me.
Boots of Bearing, gem, fluffy hat, wraith band, and of course chilling with the specialist array. For context, he has the only heroes in the enemy team that have more HP than him are like their cores. Like, Sniper has basically the same HP. Leshrac and Doom are the only ones that like significantly lap over him. And of course, neither of them have access to this untouchable. And because of how the game has been going, I don't think Hoodwink wants to be using the sharpshooter onto Enchantress. You ideally want to try to reserve that for the DK, given how tanky he is getting, but Low skill now has BKB. Laurenoff has BKB. Snapfire is building into a BKB of her own. So you might actually just be forced into using the ultimate from the Hoodwink just on Enchantress. And if that happens, Kidara's also like, sweet, mate. Spending all of this effort on me. Thanks, please do it more.
Yeah, I definitely think you really want to try and use the sharpshooter to secure a core kill, but maybe it might just be worth for him to blow up Kidara, right? Maybe you get the gem back, you get a little bit of map control back in for yourselves, and buys a little bit of extra space. Cube's going to try something here with the meme hammer.
Oh, dude, he has to meme hammer Bushwhack just to make sure that they can escape down on the bottom side of the map. Man, even if the fact that they had no idea if it's just Kidara, but they still didn't want that smoke, sort of tells us everything we need to know about the state of the game right now. But they will smoke PuckChamp to play more aggressively. They don't have low skill nearby though, so that might benefit Ivy. Also smoked up themselves. They're going in as 5, but they get the first down onto Jeff Vincento. BKB pop by the SF after the Doom comes out, but he's still strong enough to stand his ground and right click away. Sweet and strong does die inside of his own Wukongs, but look at the HP on Stoikov. Forced to get all the HP back with the Bloodstone, and thanks to the Doom, they are able to get the kill onto the SF. Kidaro helping to bring down the life onto the Doombringer. Here comes low skill at long last, getting the stun out onto Shani on the back end of the fight. He pops the BKB to try to escape this. And they do kill Kidaro. They bring down Lays as well. And being a late arriver to the fight, low skill is allowed to leave unscathed. But that's going to be 4 heroes brought down. And Ivy, they finally find a moment where they have the numerical advantage. And they manage to catch them off. They also had a slight vision advantage as well. Getting this ward out just in time from Jane Vincento on the high ground. Giving them the ability to fight on this age of the fight.
Yeah, also big thing there from Ade, getting the Doom off onto the Shadow Fiend, meaning there was no Requiem. Also was able to purge off the DD rune as well, so meant that he wasn't able to just sit there and throw out these big hands. Stoichkov did a really, really good job at popping his BKB at the right time. To be able to just get in towards the back, deal the damage, and as soon as the SF's gone and low skill's not in the area, then the damage is really lacking for the side of PuckChamp, right? Like they're really, really far ahead, but you can just see the little amount of damage they have when there's only one core around. And if SF's the one that's being doomed, we talked about this in the last couple of days when you have these single core lineups. There is a dual core that comes in from PuckChamp, but when there's only one core around, it makes it very, very easy for a Doom to be able to pick his target, and they understand that they just get rid of the Shadow Fiend. Where's the damage coming from? Like, Lays is a offlane Snapfire. Like, he's going to do damage from Mortimer's Kisses, and if he's in somebody's face, then we already know where he is.
Well, they managed to take that opportunity, get themselves a big team fight win. They'll be hoping that's not the last one though. They're going to be trying to keep the train going. Unfortunately though, because they had to expend so much for that fight, it does leave the path to Roshan very wide open, so that gets taken away by PuckChamp. They get the Aegis into the hands of Stoikov, or Laurenoff, and they give him the Aghanim shot as well. So free shot, feels good, feels nice. The question is, what do they do from here?
I'm surprised they didn't want to give it to somebody else. I guess that just kind of amplifies the Shadow Fiend's right-click damage by a boatload, just giving him a free shard. So I do see the power. Either way now. And there is another 5-minute window where Ivy have to be very, very careful about how they're cutting these lanes. They don't want to try and get caught out. They're doing a really good job at just extending this game for as long as they possibly can, right? Like, they haven't really taken any damage on their tier 3 towers as of late, and they still have this tier 2 tower on the bottom side. So if they can get to a point where the sniper's actually able to stand and deliver and deal a bit of damage, then maybe they might start looking up. But the way that last fight went, that was without low skill around, and that was kind of them getting initiated on as well. Like, that was Sweden Strong jumping in onto an Undying, of all people, and not really getting the initiation that you want to have, but it's giving all the vision in this top lane now.
Oh, they know where he's at. They have an awareness that he's somewhere around here. They pop the tombstone, and he actually jumps in, and they see him, but they actually don't want the smoke cube scurrying away through the tree lines. He might be the one that gets caught out and left behind. Nice sharpshooter. The knockback pushing him onto the high ground. However, they do now know that sharpshooter is gone, so they have a slight window here if they want to use some of the additional time on this Aegis. But looks like they're content to just take map control for now. One thing though is that this gold lead, yes, PuckChamp is 10k gold ahead, but it is somewhat plateauing. This Doombringer is getting tons of HP, of net worth. The sniper eventually will be able to pick up some more of these items. And like you mentioned, if they're able to just keep the sniper on the back end of the fight, plinking away, It's still not an insignificant amount of damage for the side of PuckChamp to deal with. But for me, the very big deal is now that they have these triple BKBs, there's so much less for them to be fearful of. They're the ones that are playing with this BKB piercing ultimate. On the side of PuckChamp, once you go into BKB, you kind of not really worried about any of their spells anymore. It's only the physical damage output that concerns you at that point.
Yeah, I still don't think it's like uber clean cut for either one of these two teams as you go late game. Like Leshrac is one of those heroes that kind of needs to play around BKB timings, but you know, late game Dragonite is nothing really to scoff at, right? Like we've seen these Aghanim's build up and he's going for the much more carrier orientated build with things like the Mantisar, and you go into like AC and Daedalus and all that kind of stuff from here on out. So I'm not quite sure if this game extending is you know, kind of just 100% falling in the favor of Ivy. I think the biggest thing for them is they have supports that are going to scale super hard outside of the Undying. I mean, an offlane and a support, so they're going to be happy with this game a little later.
Oh no, Stoikov. Stoikov's in a very awkward position. Look at him, he's inside the triangle right now. They did manage to bring down his two supports elsewhere. The question is, can they chase him down before he TPs out? Sweet and Strong coming to close the gap. Oh! Lays knew where he was at. Misses with the fire snap quickie though. That would be very, very, very sad if they got that kill. Perfect, perfect. Kind of bad. Well, just kind of late there. It's fine. It wasn't a bad play.
Sometimes the shard can be your downfall sometimes on Sapphire. I don't know if it was the shard's issue that he slightly missed. I think he mistimed it anyways, so didn't really matter. But if they got that pick off, that probably would have been high round.
Yep.
I'm not sure if he has buyback. No, he doesn't.
He does not.
So
he does not. Yeah.
it would have forced him to at least pop a BKB to try and live. They don't really have the craziest amount of lockdown for him, so maybe he could have just run away with like Bloodstone active. But if they did get that kill, then hey, it's kind of feeding frenzy time for the high ground. But they stay alive for a bit longer, and this is the issue that PuckChamp are going to have is trying to go high ground into like Sniper, Tombstone, Doom with a Blink, like a Leshrac as well. Like you kind of need to just get into a point where you just walk high ground and force them to try and fight you in bad spots.
Well, they feel like they don't need to do that much defensive work now that they have the Manta, Alghanim Scepter on the DK form with level 20 as well. So they're going to try and force this. They've already taken a tier 3 tower. Smoke up from Ivy. They're looking for the wraparound to dissuade PuckChamp from being in this area. For now though, thanks to this presence of the Dark Lord and a double damage rune on the SF, between that and this DK, my goodness, these buildings get knocked over so fast. And Ivy, despite going in for the smoke play, they're loath to fight into an Aegis. So these last few seconds, PuckChamp have definitely gotten the benefit out of it as this Aegis is about to expire.
Yeah, you can see that they don't want to overcommit on Ivy's side either. So we're probably going to be looking at a tale of constantly trying to get these Aegises to go high ground, because you know you walk too poorly into like shrapnels from Zani, he's just able to sit there and blow people to pieces. You know, if Stoichkov ever gets a nice little angle to come in on the left track, it's going to be hard for them to retreat. But I mean, doing a good job at just dotting their I's, crossing their T's. Now the net worth lead is starting to balloon out, and the question is, how do Ivy start to call this game back? I think if they can get a nice little pick, they really don't want to try and commit on to Kadaro. But if it's just Doom in the Hoodwink, then you'll take any kill you can get.
I'm going to try and force a fight here as Kadaro does drop down the tombstone. Here's going to be a job. They found Quip on the back end of the fight. Lorinov wants him dead, and Lorinov, they should be able to get this. Does get doomed up himself. In the meantime, we do see a Wukong's command drop by Sweet and Strong directly onto Stoikov. Stoikov is starting to lose HP very rapidly here. Impetus shots chasing him back. Shani pops him to the BKB, forced to try and retreat away from this fight. But they really want this Leshrac. They want Stoikov. They're chasing him onto the high ground. Low skill finally pops his own BKB. Gets the stun out onto this Leshrac. Leshrac gets stunned up by the Fire Snap Cookie as well. And that should be a death on the Rainbow Pony without buyback. 3 heroes fell on the side of Ivy, only 1 for PuckChamp. And Sweet and Strong, yet again, does not care if he commits his life in that fashion, provided it guarantees his team the team fight win. And it looks like at this stage, Fluke, it might have guaranteed his team the game win as well.
Yeah, it was kind of weird from Ivy. I thought that they were just trying to get a quick little pick with like the Hoodwink and the Doom, just trying to catch somebody off guard. Maybe they're just like, who stopped Sharpshooter, and they just like, you know, blow them up. But Yeah, like Jay Vincenzo walked in, kind of got caught with his pants down, and then they just continued to fight, and they're still just kind of walking out and just getting blown to pieces. And yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't be too surprised if we see the G's being dropped very, very soon here, and Cube drops them, and I feel bad for Ivy. I felt like they're...